from Crochet Crochic, and today we are going to learn how to follow a written pattern. Enjoy! A good pattern for crochet would always start by telling you whether it's using US terminology or UK terminology, because the stitches in those two different ways are completely different with the same name. For example, a double crochet is a different stitch in US as what it is in UK terminology. So that's the first thing. The next thing is it would always give you the abbreviations that you get in your pattern. These patterns can become so very long and difficult to follow. So they make these abbreviations in the written piece, and then they just give you a summary at the beginning. It's just to make these patterns shorter to follow. These abbreviations are usually quite standard from one pattern to a next, but sometimes there might be special notes on a way that this designer maybe wanted this specific pattern to be made in a specific stitch. For example, your turning chains or a puff stitch might be different in this pattern from another pattern, and then they would give you the special stitches. Also, it will have all these different brackets that you get in your stitches. So these brackets that you find in your stitches, it's only there to show that that is one idea or one space that those groupings would be placed into. Now, a very good tip is when you read your pattern, read it out loud at the beginning, because it will make it a lot clearer. For example, a CH, if we look at the abbreviation, is a chain. So chain 4, you would chain 4 stitches. Then SLST is slip stitch. So chain 4 stitches and then slip stitch into the 4th chain. So if you read it out loud, it might help you a little bit. So if we look at this pattern, it is a traditional granny square. The center, you chain 4 stitches and you slip stitch into the 4th chain. And that simply means chain 4 stitches, 2, 3, 4. And then what I normally do is at the back of my chain stitches, it has that bump. I place my hook into that bump and I make a slip stitch into that first stitch. So there I have a little circle, and all my next stitches would go into that circle. So then it says in round 1, you chain 6 stitches. It counts as 1 double crochet and 3 chain stitches. So I'll chain 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches, and I know that the first 3 stitches are my double crochet and the last 3 stitches are my 3 chain stitches, which would be my corner. Then it says work asterisk bracket 3 double crochets, 3 chains bracket asterisk into the 4 chain center. So that simply means that is a grouping of stitches that I do, and I follow them and put them into the same space. So it's 1, 2, 3 double crochets. So those are my 3 double crochets, and then I 1, 2, 3 chains, and I've placed those 3 double crochets and the 3 chains into that center, just like my pattern says, 3 double crochets and 3 chains into the center. Then I repeat from the asterisk to the asterisk, which means I go back, and there where those asterisks are, it wants me to repeat those 2 more times the same way. So I just repeat those brackets 2 more times. So it's double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I double crochet 1, 2, 3, and I chain 3. Now I've completed those another 2 more times. Sometimes it only says 2 more times, which means I repeat those 2 extra times. Other times it will say 3 times, which means then it will be completed 3 times total. So then 2 double crochet into the same chain 4 space. So I'll make another 2 double crochets into that center, and I slip stitch to the 3rd chain of the round to join. That means I go to the 3rd chain that I have there. I normally just place it into the space and I slip stitch. So this is what my pattern will look like. It's 3 double crochets and 3 chains repeating around. Those in the large brackets right at the end of my sentence is a summary of the amount of stitches that I would have in that round. So I would have, if my work is correct, 12 double crochets and 4 3 chain spaces. Now, in order to do round 2, I chain 3 stitches, which is 1, 2, 3, and that counts as a double crochet or a standing crochet to begin the round. Now, if you look at the link here, I have a standing double crochet, a link to my standing double crochet. Click on that and it will show you how to do a standing double crochet. In the same chain, 3 chain space, work. Now again, I get these brackets, so those are seen as one instruction that I have to follow. So I see that as a grouping of stitches together, and they are all repeating itself. So then I do 2 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So into that same chain space. So I look here and I do another 2 double crochets, chain 3, another 3 double crochets, and a chain 1. So I've completely repeated that, what's in the brackets, into that 3 chain space that I've had in the previous round. So this would count as my first double crochet. So I would have 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and a 1 chain. Then it says asterisk bracket, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 1 bracket in the next 3 chain spaces. So it shows me, it tells me where I need to place those next stitches. It's not into these double crochets at the bottom, but it's in the chain space that I have to work it. And I have to repeat from the asterisk to that asterisk 3 more times. So it will be 3 times in total that needs to be repeated. So it would be into the chain space, 3 double crochets, three chains, 3 double crochets, and then a chain stitch. And I have to repeat that 3 times total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 3 chains, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and a chain. So I've done 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, 1 chain around this corner and around this corner. Now I need to do it for my 3rd time. So it's into the chain space is a double crochet, 2, 3 with 3 chains and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and a chain stitch. And a chain stitch. And then I slip stitch to the 3rd chain of the round to join. So I slip stitch into that space and I join it with a slip stitch. Now again, there I have my large brackets, and it gives me the total of stitches that I have to have in this round, which is 24 double crochets, 4 3 chain spaces, 1 2 3 4, and 4 chain 1 spaces, 1 2 3 4 chain 1 spaces. So now I continue with this. If you found this useful, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment in the comment box if there's something that you need me to answer for you.